Novak, you were obviously quite wound up by the crowd tonight in this respect. Do you think it's time for Wimbledon to take action against crowd members who are overstepping the line, to go out and stop them stepping over the line? I know in your previous match, for example, two matches.
Look, I don't know what Wimbledon can really do about it. I mean, in those particular moments, it really happens. The crowd paid their tickets, you know, they have the right to be there and cheer the way they want to cheer. So that's absolutely, you know, something that they choose, how they choose to behave or how they choose to support the player is really up to them. And yes, I mean, you could argue that maybe, you know, I don't know, a chair umpire or whoever can, you know, step in certain moments and calm them down, or, you know, but there's not much you can do. I mean, you're not gonna take out the whole section of the the crowd or stadium out because they're misbehaving, you know, or showing disrespect. But I mean, it's just the way it is, you know. It's part of the sport. It's actually one of the biggest reasons why we are here, why the tournament is so important historically, and why we are globally recognized as tennis players, is because of the fans, because of the interest that they put into watching tennis matches, paying tickets, queuing to come and, you know. So I respect that. I try to acknowledge that, and I said on the court, you know, all the fans, the true tennis fans that really respect players. And of course, I mean, you're going to support one player or the other. I mean, it's, you know, obviously solely up to them. I mean, and it's fully understandable that they, you know, have the freedom to choose who they back in the match. But, you know, if somebody steps over the line, I react. And so that's basically what it was. You know, after the match, I said what I said.
Back, more than half the men and women left had never won a Grand Slam title, seeking their first. Going back many, many years, many trophies. Can you remember what it felt like to win that first, and what you think changed the most for you with getting Grand Slam title #1?
It was back in 2008. I won Australian Open. That was my first Grand Slam title, and obviously the first Grand Slam title is always the most special one. It was breaking the ice for me in a way. But it took me another 3 years to win a second one. So I did struggle those 3 years to understand, you know, or to kind of see what it takes to win against, particularly Nadal and Federer, that were dominating the sport and the game and winning basically all the Grand Slams at that point. But I learned the hard way, I guess, you know, through the rivalries with these two guys. Was basically improving my game, bettering myself also on the court mentally, I think, and really maturing and evolving as a person and as a player, and getting stronger as the time was passing by. And there were some key moments really in my career that really served as a great trigger in a positive way. For example, the Davis Cup title with Serbia end of 2010 was a huge momentum for me. I felt, you know, wind in my back. I felt like I had wings after that, because, you know, bringing the first Davis Cup to Serbia ever was something extremely special in front of our crowd in Belgrade. And after that, I probably had one of, if not the best season of my life. You know, won 40+ matches in a row and three slams out of 4. That's where I really became a different player, I would say. You know, that's where I started believing that I deserve to be on the top, and that I can be better than Federer and Nadal. So it's, you know, there are different challenges, or so to say, different levels of achievements in our sport. You know, obviously the big one is how to win a slam, and then even a bigger one is how to be #1, and then even a bigger one is how to be winning multiple slams, and then even a bigger one is how to do that, you know, for years and be the #1 player in the world for multiple years. So that's, you know, most of the players don't achieve that in the course of their careers. So, I've been very blessed to be in that position. So, I'm very proud of all the achievements, but I do know how difficult it is to climb to the top. And like Zverev, for example, is a very good example of somebody who, I mean, when you see his results, when you see his game and all he has done so far in the sport, he definitely deserves a Grand Slam title, right? But he was so close against Dominic Thiem in US Open. He was played finals this year. He was up against Alcaraz in the finals of Roland Garros. Many times semis, and it's just edging closer and closer. But it's not easy. It's not easy, and the longer it goes without you winning a slam title, the more you think about it, and the more this pressure mounts on you every time you're in that situation where you're okay, I'm playing for the title again, and then you start doubting yourself, and then it's a huge icebreaker when you manage to win the first one. But for players like Dominic Thiem, for example, when he won his Grand Slam, only Grand Slam, after that he couldn't maintain that level for too long, and then unfortunately injuries caught up with him, and then it's unfortunate to have a player like that also not being able to be consistent with his level, and because he's a player that could have won easily multiple slams on clay court as well. You have unbelievable players that never won a slam. They deserve to do, but it's just Grand Slams are a whole different animal, so to say, in comparison to other tournaments.
¿Eres fan de Novak? ¿Conoces a alguien que lo sea? Demuestra tu pasión por el serbio con nuestros productos exclusivos. Visita nuestra tienda online y adquiere la tuya ahora.